Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. I'm Bill Horan, along with my co-host, Stacy Raine.
Today we're going to learn about the Long Beach Latino Civic Association, an organization that works to alleviate the social problems of the Latino community in the city of Long Beach here on Long Island. They advocate for communities and individuals in crisis by providing resources and access to opportunity networks.
Our guests today are Helen Dorado Alessi, their executive director, and Nicole Fader, their board vice president. Helen and Nicole, welcome to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
So let's start learning about you two. And how about telling us about your background first?
Well, I came to Long Beach Latino Civic Association after a bit of a tragedy, honestly. I was working at Toyota Corporation and doing fantastically well there. And unfortunately, my both parents developed Alzheimer's at the same time. And obviously, it was a very difficult situation whereby I needed to be present, could not be flying to Japan or Atlanta or anywhere else. And so I was already on the board of Long Beach Latino Civic Association, and I became available, and they snatched me up.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Smart move.
I started out with Long Beach Latino. I grew up in Long Beach, and I was involved in politics at a very young age. I was president of a Hispanic Youth Committee in my teen years, and I moved away and came back to Long Beach and became a parent, and I was still very close to Mike Cruz, who was the one who really got me involved in community service. And he is one of the founders of the Long Beach Latino Civic Association. Mm-hmm. And he had asked me if I would like to join the board. And of course, my passion is to, what it did for me was it opened my eyes up to what runs a community, how government works, what your voice means in the community. So, of course, it was a no-brainer for me to get involved. And then I want to say 6 years ago, they approached me and asked me if I would be vice president. And I was like, wow, okay.
Sounds good. Good background. Good
story.
Helen, you were on the board. Now you're the executive director. Will you just tell us a little bit about what the Long Beach Latino Civic Association is all about?
So I think the best way to describe it is sort of to explain what a day at LBLCA is like. So we have a crackerjack team of community folks working there with us. They're all students, whether it's graduate school, college, or high schoolers. Everyone is already in school. Several are graduates of Nassau Community College. So we're sitting there doing our work, seeking funds, trying to help folks with all kinds of situations. We don't necessarily see them as problems. We see them as situations. And we see our community as asset-based. We don't see it as deficits like, oh, this community is terrible or has high crime. No, we see a lot of courageous, hardworking people, family members. So you're sitting there doing your work, minding your own business, and then you get a phone call or somebody walks in the office. And there's a situation where somebody just found out that the place they're living is being sold and they're going to be evicted. And they have a couple of weeks to find something, and their funds are limited, and the rents are sky high. So then it's a matter of putting the puzzle pieces together. How do we help this individual? And for us, a big part of it is helping people attain better paying jobs with benefits. Oftentimes people come here into the country. They may not have the skill set that's needed here, so they work their way up, generally starting in a restaurant or in assisted living, helping folks. And little by little, kids come along, time to go to work. What do? Now we don't have a place to live. And so it could be that. It could be a phone call about something we need to advocate for. perhaps the city council in Long Beach has decided it wants to do a certain thing, but they haven't communicated with the community yet to get their feedback. So we then start running around getting people to come to city council meetings to have their voices heard.
That's a busy day already. And the funny thing, when you started off and you said something about Cracker Jacks, I thought, that's the kind of group I like. They're starting off with Cracker Jacks. It's got to be a good day. And you were talking about, of course, the members rather than the food. Now, if I'm correct, you have basically 5 main areas that you focus on.
Yes.
And could you take us through what you do in those, what the areas are and kind of what you do in those areas?
So I'm going to ask you to read off the areas.
Sure.
Because I'll go off in tangents because the work is so exciting and vibrant that
That's
I
fair.
could
That's
be
fair.
here all
Keep
day.
me working. That's
yes,
fair.
all right.
And there's so much to tell.
To go. No,
You
I
know,
can
it's
see that
just-
already. Civic participation.
So a tenet at Long Beach Latino Civic Association in terms of our values is that you come to this country, the idea is you need to engage. And how do you engage? You engage by becoming civically involved. In other countries, it may not be as expected. So my family's from Cuba and Puerto Rico, different places. Here, it's a whole system you have to learn. So the idea is not only civic engagements, but civic participation. So we run people through all kinds of programs like one called Mi Gente Ponte las Pilas, which means, does not translate well. It means my people put on your batteries. Put in your batteries.
Okay.
And basically, you remember that commercial with the ever-ready bunny, bzzz, this is what we mean. So we have a 5-week course where we teach people about the Constitution, the preamble, the Bill of Rights. We have 20 people around a table. They read it out loud to each other, and then we have conversation. Second part is we ask them, what do you want to see in your community? What do you want to see this country be about? And we ask them to list those things. And then the third part is we talk to them about, there are 4 parts, social movements. What can a social movement do in this country? And then the other part is we do this little study about political cartoons going back years and years since the beginning of newspapers to show them that the Chinese, African Americans, Irish, Italian, everyone gets some sort of prejudice against them when they first come. And so it's our duty to help acclimate them, not assimilate them, but acclimate them to what it means to live in the United States.
I'm already impressed, and we only was talking about number
We've only
one.
got
No, how
one.
thorough, because
More to
honestly,
go.
I thought organizations like this, you did some work with the people, helped them out, and once a year you had either a food fest or a golf outing or a dance. I'm really very impressed and how much work this must take. How about economic education? That must be difficult.
So the financial system in the United States and in New York is a complete mystery to even Americans oftentimes. So what we do is we bring people in to have conversations. We have a seminar series. So for instance, Apple Bank will send us Jose Jara, who's their bank manager, and he will do this whole thing on financial literacy. And he's wonderful because he understands what it's like. He wants as many people as possible to understand the rudimentaries of financial health and security, right? If you have a family in need who cannot figure out where their next check is coming from or what to do with it once they get it, well, that's a difficulty, right? So that's one of the things, but we also are very interested in people becoming entrepreneurs and running their own businesses. Oftentimes the systems here I don't know English. How can I work in a company where they're going to expect? How about running your own business? What do you care about? And we are going to start working with an organization called Workshop and Business Opportunities. It's a 16-week course on how to open up and keep a successful business going.
I think both of us may want to join that.
Oh, really? Okay.
We'll be the spy in the back. We'll pretend we're writing
More
things
than
down.
welcomed.
So before we go further, I know Stacy wants to give an announcement.
Yes, you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Stacy Raine, here with Bill Horan, and today we're talking with the Long Beach Latino Civic Association, an organization that works to alleviate the social problems of the Latino community in the city of Long Beach here on Long Island. They advocate for communities and individuals in crisis by providing resources and access to opportunity networks. Our guests today are Helen Dorado Alessi, their executive director, and Nicole Fader, their board vice president.
The third, I guess, avenue that you work with is youth development.
Well, the youth development program, we have some interns working for us and we have some youth working for us too that are employed by us. To me, it's so important because when I was growing up and exposed to this type of community service, it was just something that really helped me grow so much as a person, and knowing that there was this need in town and that my voice was able to do something about it. So what I really would love to see happen is I would love to have like a youth committee. I would love to have a place for a youth committee, like to gather. And I think it's so important for us to empower our youth to become leaders in our community. We have so little representation as Latinos, and we really need to see these people in places that we can go to and feel comfortable in our community even more and more associate with what the people need out there. If we don't have representation that look like us, it's hard to go to somebody else to learn or to amplify them. So I think it's really important that we raise our youth up, teach them what we know, and empower them to be in positions that we can go to somebody and get help at the state level or at the government level.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And especially for the youth to see this, even if it's not something that's successful on step 1 or 2, just what the process is, what they have to do.
Exactly.
How about cultural awareness? What do you do for that?
Well, there are quite a number of things. So we're all familiar with something called Hispanic Heritage Month. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's Hispanic Heritage Year. I mean, we don't see that month as the month. And by the way, that's September 15th through October 15th. And oftentimes people ask, well, what the heck? Why is it in the middle of 2 months? Basically, it's because it's during the time that most Hispanic countries received their independence. Mm. First, it was made a week by President Johnson, a Democrat, and then it was made a month by President Reagan, Ronald Reagan. So I kind of like that because nonprofits must maintain a nonpartisan way of being due to our IRS standing. Mm-hmm. We're not allowed to be on one side or the other, so we oftentimes straddle both and none at the same time because oftentimes there are Democrats and Republicans who are complete supporters of the Latino community and want to see them thrive. So our efforts is to help people thrive. What is a way to help people thrive? To have pride in their culture. You have St. Patrick's Day, you have African American Month, and so we take it as our personal initiative to help our community learn about the pride of our culture, but also the American community, right? Because most of us came from somewhere else at some point in our family lineage. So when we have something like our kite flying festival, which Nicole was the brainchild of the kite flying festival. When we do something like this, it's to alert people, help people understand, and develop a greater sense of unity as people in our community. Now, one thing that I wanted to tell Stacy is that we are expanding beyond Long Beach. Mm. So we are Nassau County wide right now. We are working with folks in Uniondale and Westbury. We're working with folks all over. We actually even work with folks from Long Beach, California, because they call us by accident and they're speaking in Spanish and they can't find anybody to help them. Well, we'll look something up on the computer to help them. So we also have a beautiful Hispanic Heritage Gala. We have over 300 people coming yearly to this beautiful gala, and we honor those who work with us and those who are part of the community. But our favorite part, Nicole, right, is our Rising Star Award winners. These are children from each of the schools in Island Park and Long Beach will be honored that night. It's important. It's vitally important that our children feel the specialness of who they are. And we don't generally want kids who, are straight A students, because a lot of us, even in leadership, are not straight A students when we were kids. We grew into our leadership. And so we're looking for young people. You know, the kindergartners are adorable. We're looking for little ones all the way up to the high school students who have shown perseverance during a difficult time. Mom lost her job, dad got cancer, or we're looking for young people who are compassionate amongst their peers. They see one of their peers who cannot get a math problem, they automatically are the ones who go to help.
That's a great lead-in before Stacy gets to ask you a question. Someone hearing this show says, wait, I would like to get involved, etc. Where are you located, and how does someone get in touch with you?
So we are now at 670 Long Beach Boulevard, across the street from McDonald's.
That's the main thing. A good landmark. I would find you all the time.
So we're right at the bridge that is between Long Beach and Island Park. And our telephone number is 516-988-0039. We're in a beautiful 2-story building. In the past, we have moved 3 times in 4 years. So to be at the Bridgeworks building, it's a shared workspace building, and they have been, Phil and Graham have been wonderful, and we are looking to do great things in that building.
If you're near McDonald, I can find you. That's
okay,
good.
great.
And there's one more focus area, I think, and it's environmental justice. So, Nicole, do you want to talk about that one a little bit?
Actually, she's much better at environmental justice. That's her thing, big time.
But I will also defer to Nicole as soon as I finish my 2 cents, because this woman, let me tell you something, this woman really is a gentle force of nature. I will say it like that.
That's a great title.
A gentle force of nature.
That's a nice sweatshirt with that on there.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Nature coming through.
I mean, I would wear that title proudly.
So the reason I say that is that we have been for a long time looking for ways to help people become more healthy. You may not know this, but Latinos suffer from diabetes at a higher rate than most. I myself have diabetes and have been going through quite a health challenge, and Nicole has been a wonderful counselor during this time in my life. And we want people to eat healthy, understand what it means to be plant-based eaters, understand that you can have your own power in growing your own food. So together we developed something called sofa.
It's amazing.
It's funny because the word sofa, in English it's sofa, right? It means like a couch. In Spanish it's sofá, and it also means couch. And sofa stands for Suburban Organic Farmers in Action. So Nicole could tell you a little bit about that.
So I've been plant-based for almost 9 years now. I'm a holistic healthcare practitioner. That's what I do for a living. I have a business in Long Beach, Beyond Zen Healing, and I also own another business, Barefoot Bocce, in Long Beach. But my passion is really health. And I feel like I'm a teacher on an individual level when people come to me with health issues. Sometimes I can't even help myself. I'll see you on the street and I'll be like, oh my God, what's going on with you? And this is what you need to do, to help you. Because food is really, we have lost, let food be thy medicine, let medicine be thy food. We have lost so much of that in our communities. And with these programs that we're doing, it's empowering to let people know they can actually grow their own vegetables right in their kitchen in containers. Even if I live in an apartment, I do it with one of those Euro lights. It doesn't take much. It just takes knowledge and what can grow inside and what can grow outside. But it's changed my life so much just knowing what I'm putting inside my body. And I want to empower other people to let them know that it really makes a difference with how you're feeling when you wake up in the morning with what you're putting inside your body.
It's a great point. Now, your organization, you have volunteers. Can you tell us if someone wants to get involved in a volunteer basis, do they just contact you? Are you looking more like the high school students, older people, specialties?
We kind of go where people are. We see each thing that we do with people as a way to help increase their resume. So if you come to us as a person who just lost their job, So instead of being all down that you lost your job, we know, we understand, but why not come and volunteer with us for a little bit? And we will help put that time frame where you're not working, so it doesn't look like you weren't doing anything, but looking for a job, which is a job in itself. We help the person then, okay, I look at your resume. Listen, you're missing a couple of things here, I think, if you want to go work at a hospital. Let's do these kinds of things as a volunteer job here, and you can fill your resume with that. We are super practical because we know people's time is precious, and so we want them to feel a get. Oh, I got something out of coming to Long Beach Latino. And so that's part of our work.
We also have the programs, too.
Well,
programs that we invite for volunteers. Like, for example, we did a cleanup in Long Beach. With the cleanup, those things, we've done food giveaways, all types of different things that we could use volunteers to help us with. The gala committee, that's all people that are interested in helping us create our gala to, bring it to higher levels. So there's plenty of places that people can get involved with our organization. Just call us and we'll find a spot for you.
That's
for sure.
a great way on many levels. So thank you.
I love the idea of having volunteers do things that are really going to help them in that next step. Not just like, okay, these are the things we need done, but what do you need done? I'm going to take a minute to remind our listeners that you're listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Stacy Raine here with Bill Horan, and today we're talking with the Long Beach Latino Civic Association, an organization that works to alleviate the social problems of the Latino community here in Nassau County and on Long Island. They advocate for communities and individuals in crisis by providing resources and access to opportunity networks. Our guests today are Helen Dorado Alessi, their executive director, and Nicole Fader, their board vice president.
Helen, Nicole, again, I see something here, the Parent Cafe of Dreams, and I'm always attracted to food, as you notice. So tell us about that.
Well, some time ago, we were trying to figure out a beautiful way to entice people to come and sit down. They're busy working, they're raising their children. Let's sit down and have a meal. And so cafe means two things in Spanish, right? Cafe is coffee, and cafe is more like, a sit down. What we do is we take a subject matter and we get 30 parents in a room. So it could be, for instance, my child is going to college. I don't know the first thing about helping them get ready. And we'll take a very long piece of paper, spread it across a table, and put crayons and pencils and magic markers, and we ask the parents 3 questions. Basically, they're questions about, what do you want for your child's future? They write it down. What do you think your child wants for their future? They write it down. And then the last question is, how can the community help you and your child make that dream come true? They write it down. We go around and folks answer that question. And boy, what we hear are things you would never think about because you're not in that position. So we're always trying to give voice to people, but they should be telling us, not us telling them. And then what does that do? That informs us in terms of our advocacy. So that's the second part of our work. First part is direct service, where we're helping people individually, and then advocating. Listen, let's be real. The truth is that when new people come into a country or an area, the people who live there don't know them, don't understand them, don't know their customs, their foods, none of that. So it's a time of helping to bridge that understanding in a way that's most comfortable to all. And the truth of the matter is, sometimes, like in the city of Long Beach, we advocated for language access legislation, a law or a policy that says that if somebody comes to the city council and doesn't speak English, that there will be somebody there to help interpret. Or if somebody comes to pay a ticket and doesn't understand English, you gave them the ticket. You want them to pay it. They don't understand how to do it. Help them. Have somebody hired there that can speak several languages. Or what they ended up doing was getting a computer program called Language Line, where you call up that number and you say, I need somebody who speaks Swahili, Mandarin, whatever, and the person comes on and can interpret, right? what is going on. Now, we have those in the police squad cars as well now.
The Parent Cafe also, it helps people, like Helen was talking before, acclimate to their community. Like we have professionals come in, like school psychologists or bankers, to help them navigate the community in a way where they're not used to. They're new here. They're not accustomed to the ways that we do things. So it gives them a little bit more ease to move into the community in a better way, a little bit more education as to how to do certain things.
Quickly, before we wrap up, I would love to hear about your long-term goals for the association.
Do it, Helen, do it.
I'm just so excited.
I'm all excited now.
I know it's not TV, but I'm super excited to inform everyone. And this is an exclusive. You are the first to hear
look at
this.
us, Bill.
Okay.
Latino Civic Association is forging something brand new called the Philanthropy and Nonprofit Center. Mm-hmm. This is a collaborative endeavor in Long Beach in this new building. The building is almost completely empty. Imagine a world where we have a bunch of nonprofits in one building. And in that one building, those nonprofits work with each other to help the community. Everybody knows where we are. We also would like to have government offices there. So Long Beach used to have a Social Security office. We haven't had one in years and years. Imagine that. Imagine we have social entrepreneurs there to help what I call the safety net sector, the nonprofits. Someone who will sit there and write grants out for us. Someone who will sit there and help us with purchasing so that, okay, everybody needs insurance. Let's go in bulk and get a better price for all the nonprofits. This is huge. I helped to build one on Wall Street that still exists, so I know it can be done. So we're looking for all kinds of people to be a part of this
You've
project.
had so many great ideas today. I think we should have a second show because we're running out of time
We
now.
would love that.
Thank you so much. Give us that address once again.
We are at 670 Long Beach Boulevard, across the street from McDonald's
I'll always
in Long
be able
Beach.
to find you every time I pass.
And our phone
that.
number is 516-988-0039.
We want to thank our guest today, Helen Dorado Alessi. She's the Executive Director, and Nicole Fader, the Board Vice President of the Long Beach Latino Civic Association. Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you for
Our
having
pleasure.
us.
I'd like our audience to know that I'm Bill Horan. I'm here with Stacy Raine, and we want to thank you for listening to this week's episode of My Hometown.
We like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.